Today, I'm going to critique Mike Patey's dream home and then give it an Arvin score at the end of the video. So if you ever decide to purchase a property, build a property, remodel your own property, you won't make the same mistakes. I'm Arvin Haddad. I'm the How to Buy a Mansion guy. Let's watch this video together.
Welcome to the Patey home. We're finally finished. We've moved in. Love to show you around. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mike Patey. I love to build wild flying machines.
Okay, if you've never seen his YouTube channel, this guy is a badass. He's an aviator, but more interestingly, he's an engineer at heart. I'm not sure if he has a degree or not, but in my book, he's the ultimate engineer. He designs, builds airplanes and test flights it himself, and he holds world records, speed records, flying his own airplanes. It's ridiculous.
I did a house build series. We're building a wild pool system on the top floor of a house, 24 feet deep in the water. And this is the end. I finished it about a year ago, and we never really got to a finished video. Why? Because it takes time to get all the furniture. Some of it took way too long to get here. We've got the furniture done, little loose end pieces, but we're close enough. Let's show you around. This is the entry. Welcome to our home. This is the kitchen. We love this place. We live right on a river. It's been absolutely a blast. It changes from brown to clear. It has no dam above it, so it's always shallow, deep. It moves with the weather. We absolutely love it. So today it's a little brown. We had a little bit of rain, and it's beautiful.
Okay, first and foremost, before I get into the architectural style, layout, wow factor, and finishes, let's talk about the location. We're in Utah, south of Salt Lake City, south of Lake Utah. I would describe the area as farmland and small rural subdivision. And this is not a gated community. It's not, I would say, ultra luxury neighborhood. I would describe it as entry-level luxury. Now, you're right by the river, which is cool, but it forces you to be north facing because on the other side of the river, there's no other subdivision. So if you want to be on the river, this is the way you're going to face it, and that limits the amount of sunshine you're going to get over here. The other element I'm a little bit worried about, he mentioned that this river is not dammed. Now, that comes with positives that, it's live and it, goes up and down, but makes me worried about the 100-year flood and the probability of that happening. And I'm wondering if he's ever thought about that and has a solution to solve this issue if we ever come across a 100-year flood.
We'll give you a little tour inside, outside, all around, tell you what we did unique about some of the engineering. Right now, let me show you my wife's favorite feature. She loves her tea. So we made a tea closet where she's got all her favorite teas, little brick back. This island is the biggest slab we could find to make this work. This is actually heated, and Chandra loves that for all kinds of reasons and baking and other things. So this is a heated island.
Heated island? I didn't know that was a thing. Overall, I have to say the palette is very neutral. Very, very neutral and light. Considering it's a north-facing property, allows natural light to come in. He hasn't gone really dark in the kitchen.
One of the things we really debated on was typically we have the sink by the back window and you have cabinets around it. We just didn't want to ruin the view out the back. That is a park back there. No one can build back there. We'll never see a home back there. It just goes river to park. So we wanted this open. So we put the sink where you're not looking out the window, but it worked out great because we put a giant mirror in it. And when you're looking in it, you see all trees and a beautiful park. So we got the best of both.
That's funny. I'm sure his wife is like, hey, I want this sink by the river. She's like, don't worry about it. I got you. We're going to put it on this side and mirror, problem solved. See, this is a very typical engineering mind, right? He sees problems and he solves it and he gets satisfaction from it. And I wouldn't say this is incorrect, right? Having a mirror in front of your sink, it's odd. It doesn't really look good, but I guess he solved the problem. My bigger concern here is how usable that stool bar area is for breakfast. And if that is an arrangement that you would enjoy having breakfast or lunch or dinner with anyone, sitting next to each other, looking at the view and not facing each other, because that's to me odd. If anything, I would have liked to seen a bar extended on the other side with stool facing the kitchen that you can serve food and elements like that.
My wife really went all out on this since she loves to cook. So I can't tell you anything about it other than she loves it. So
it really missing a pot filler for a stove this beautiful. I would have assumed he would have put like a crazy piping and water system, but he just didn't put a pot filler there.
Moving on this way, you can see out to the backyard. A lot of things that are tough, different about engineering on this. You'll see a ton of glass everywhere. There's a lot of big steel in here. It's hard to get the shear walls in. So we had to create a lot of steel. You can look back at some of the past videos and see how we had to do that. A big giant concrete anchor, which is the pool upstairs. But little things like this back patio. So I went ahead and built an entire concrete superstructure that raised this deck up rather than just sand, and then built a big concrete rebar frame anchored to the house out to the outside so that all these stone pavers on the top, which are 2 inches thick, never move or shift as the house wants to finish its last little settling that you're stuck with. So that deck should never move. It's a bit more cost, a bit more work, but I'm never going to mess with it.
Okay. You can tell this is going to be over-engineered by a big margin. But I want to talk about the layout. As you walk in, you have a wow factor, right? It's opened up. I think part of what he's saying is that for the shear walls and everything, he wanted the opening right there. And when you're doing the structural engineering, they're like, no, we really need a column over here. He's like, no. I'm willing to put a steel beam to frame it view. So it's really good. He's paying attention to that. And he's put the dining table there. Very common on smaller footprint properties to kind of put the dining table right after the foyer. The foyer was wide, open, and it's kind of a separation between his family room and the kitchen. In here, you can see all the rooms in here. There's not a lot of shear wall and anything here and here, so of course that all had to be steel. It was really fun engineering this. This is our family room. Okay, this feels a lot more like a formal living room than a family room. Just the seating arrangement and everything is just not conveying that, and the piano is not helping. All the decorations, this is all my wife. I just build stuff. We'll let her make it pretty. She did a great job. I couldn't be happier. She's always putting flowers up. Everything's fresh and new. Constantly putting real flowers in here, so it always smells nice. All right, before we go to another space, ceiling height, scale, volume, proportions were spot on. All the spaces felt proportionally and optically right. Overall, a very typical entrance to a property. Nothing crazy. Definitely over-engineered with that crazy deck he's built out. Let's see the other rooms. If you look down this way, we have cleaning room in here. We have a dog shower, dog bath, the cat's food, everything inside here. Outside, you can peek out to the dog deck, to a dog yard. It's just a great little getaway, and you can see this is where they come in and out. Right now I've got them locked in, but this is when we let them in and out on their own. Okay, most important thing over here is the fact that the side setback is really tight. Remember I said this is not like a luxury, ultra luxury subdivision. Your neighbor is right there. But his placement for the laundry room and the dog washing room and all the other stuff in this corner, very appropriate. This was Chandra's design. So we couldn't find a door we liked that had the height and the width to fit. So we made this ourselves. Chandra designed it. And then you'll probably notice all over the place, every window seal in the whole house, instead of having wood or a paint, I went ahead and put granite on everything. It's just where you're always washing the glass and cleaning. Just tends to always mess up over time. That window sill gets stains or water or paint chips. So everything is granite on all the window seals around the house, and it's been so nice this year. We did something similar here by the elevator. On the stairs, carpet. I don't mind the carpet. I'm kind of shocked by the brick, because when you look at the facade of the building, it comes as a very typical modern architectural design. It's not significant at all. You know, when it comes to modern design, I'm very I'm a big advocate of pushing the envelope forward and not just copying other previous modern designs. Because I think modern by definition has to be modern, like current, right? It needs to evolve. And I personally didn't see the brick on the facades.
What I loved about the granite stairs is it never wore. And it wasn't, you didn't have that really grungy carpet where it's hard to vacuum up in these corners. So I decided to try something different. We did granite around all the staircases.
Horrible railing. What is this, bro? This looks like torture devices. This is very sleek and nice, and not this.
This elevator shaft, if you watch the video, you can see when we crane that in, there's a whole lot of real brick going floor to ceiling all the way to the basement. House is 3 stories tall. We do anticipate this being our last home. We love the area. My brother Mark lives down the street. My kids live all around the area. They're all within just a few minutes of our house.
Okay, this is really critical because it answers a lot of questions for myself. Because if you're spending this much money over engineering this property, you better have a plan to live there for a very long time. And he seems to have very good reasons to live here because his brother lives down the street. Their family is entrenched in this neighborhood, right? So again, this is an important decision because I bet you 80% of these upgrades that he's talked about, no one's going to pay you for it. They're not going to come and say, oh, like, you know, we appreciate this. It's just the property is going to comp with properties that sold in the neighborhood, maybe a little bit higher, but not significantly higher. I don't think if he puts the property on the market right now, he would get exactly the amount of money he's spent on it because he's obviously completely overspent over here.
I think we're going to be here forever. Because of that, we put in an elevator because someday these will be crickety old bones. Hopefully never. And also, if our parents, as they get older, it's nice to be able to take them up to the pool, down in the basement to the movie theater. So let me show you around here. We come down this way. You can see just one of the restrooms down here. We found a lot of things that we liked. We saw someone that did partial granite and we said, you know what, we love that look. And we love that when cabinets have room underneath them. So we decided we'd build an entire granite countertop, sink, wash basin.
Can you spot the flaw? I give you 3 seconds. I always pause the frame and ask my subscribers to spot the flaw because it's a muscle you have to exercise. 3, 2, 1. The distance between the toilet and the sink is ridiculously tight. Like if you back in, you fall into the freaking toilet. And then the proximity of the powder room, it's somewhat close to the front door. You know, you got to go past the stairs, the elevator, you get there. Typically, it's a little bit closer, but it's really far from the family room. It's very, very far if this is the only powder room he has on this floor.
You're going to notice some unique things about the house. To get a swimming pool on the second floor, it took some big walls.
What? The swimming pool is on the second floor? I didn't make that out. That's really interesting.
This is a solid concrete wall, concrete beam. This wall goes from the front of the house to the back of the house, solid concrete, and it's 3 stories tall. It goes all the way up. So this is one of the main anchors for the entire house. And then there is millions of pounds of concrete carrying out that way, holding a swimming pool suspended in air that we drive our cars under. When you see walls this big, it's part of the engineering. It was, quite frankly, one of the funnest parts about building this house is saying, I want a pool on the roof.
What the Why? Why is the swimming pool on the second floor? I'm really curious.
There is an interesting story about why the pool's on the roof. We originally drew the entire house wanting to be on the river. We put the pool in the backyard. We went to get a permit and then they said, you can't. Why? Because if you look at the backyard, we're really close proximity to the river. We didn't know they had a setback requirement. You can't have a swimming pool within so many feet of the river.
Oh my God. That's such a rookie mistake. Again, you didn't even have to go to the city for that. All you had to do, Mike, was look on satellite photos and see if any of the neighbors had a swimming pool. And that should have came up to your mind. Hey, how come none of my neighbors have a swimming pool? And your agent should have really done that in escrow and finding out, considering you wanted to build there. It should have come up way, way earlier. But most importantly, your back facade, Mike, looks ridiculous. I'm really glad there's not another property on the other side because, sorry to tell you, man, it looks pretty weird, if not ugly. It looks like a kind of a ship sticking out.
So we thought all our ideas were dashed. The house can't be built. We really wanted a pool for raising our grandkids and teaching them to swim here. It was probably the greatest lemon turned to lemonade because as soon as we were told you can't have a pool in the backyard, I was like kind of dashed. And then the next phrase out of the guy's mouth was, there's just no way to put a swimming pool on that property. And I don't know, that was it. I was like, no way, really? Well, maybe I'll put it on the roof of the house. And everyone just laughed. And next thing you knew, I'm drawing with pencils and we redrew the whole house. And sure enough, the pool on the roof of the house above the garage is far enough away from the setbacks.
This guy's nuts. Oh my God. It's funny how he describes it as, you know, turning lemon to a lemonade. And I'm sure he sees it that way. But the amount of cost, look at that concrete. Very, very expensive. Extremely expensive. This is probably one of the most expensive pools ever constructed on a single family home. It's ridiculously expensive to do this. And I can promise you, probably in 10 years, maybe even 20 years, if he ever decides to sell this house, which I hope he doesn't because it's his dream home, but if he ever does, there is no way he will break even. I am sure he's going to lose money on this. Again, thankfully, he's very entrenched in this neighborhood, so he's not going to sell his house. But this is a very expensive fix. Very, very, very expensive fix.
And you can see we're heading down to the basement. We carried the granite everywhere, all the way down. So not just upstairs, but going down. I love it. And one of the things that I really struggle with, last couple homes I've had, whenever I was going into the basement, I felt like I was going into the basement. And I really didn't want that. And so that's why you see this so wide in the basement stairway. One, it's really tall ceilings, so I broke up the staircase into an extra turn rather than one straight or two. I made it 3 to make it feel not such a long staircase. 2, I made it really big and gave it room so I'd get the brick, the space. And 3, if you look up, I put in a window that goes 2 full stories tall.
This is critical because he's trying to get light from the south side, right? The front of the property is facing the south. The living spaces are facing the north. So he's setting up the staircase a little bit away from the windows to allow that sunlight rays to come into all the floors. Pretty good decision to diffuse the north-facing situation of the property.
And we let that light carry down. So if you look at the ceiling, the staircase is just semi-floating around the entire brick column from the top floor coming down, and that lets all the natural light in here. So you understand why I made these stairs kind of float in midair and why I made this open, but it created some engineering challenges. That window that's letting the light in, that's several stories tall.
Okay, let's talk about the architectural style of the property because the front facade is slightly prettier than the back facade, but that doesn't say much because the back facade was just ridiculous. The front facade, the main problem here is the clash of the brick, which he did use as an accent on the exterior, and the stone. Horrible match. I mean, you don't put that brick right next to that stone. What typically developers and designers would do, instead of the brick, they would use sidings, natural wood, or different color to kind of bring a different texture, different element to it. Having a brick next to the stone, it just doesn't mesh. They're two harsh, very strong elements, and putting them next to each other, it doubles down on it instead of diffusing it and warming it up with wood sidings and kind of giving it a more earthy feeling. Architecturally speaking, I can't even come up with a name. It's completely made up. I would say maybe a transitional modern. Insignificant.
If you take the dirt load that was pushing on this wall, normally that would go up and have something connecting into it on the next floor and helping hold that wall back. Because I don't have that, as everything is free floating and it's going several stories, this wall had to get structurally strengthened. So to do that, we put in this bond beam superstructure so this wall wouldn't bow by making it thicker, and a bunch of rebar on this section here, which is also why you see this granite shelf. It's bigger than normal. But then this wall, to keep it from coming in, has another rebar bond beam carrying down to hold the center of this. And then that ties into a concrete wall that goes right here, you can't see, under the stairs that carries across into the main footing of the entire house and the elevator shaft superstructure footing. So that's what keeps this wall from moving, even though it goes several stories without any other connection. So when I did the windows, there's huge beams going up each side of the window to pick up those loads so that wall doesn't shake in big heavy winds, and it does not move at all. But sometimes little things like letting light in, it adds a lot of work, but it's half the fun of engineering your own house. Welcome to the dungeon. You can see the elevator shaft right here coming into the basement. I've separated this basement off to that side and this side. I did that because we have enough space in this basement to have a complete second home, basically. It's the mother-in-law's apartment. This door, very heavy, thick door.
Wait a minute. You spent all this money, Mike, to bring natural light to your hallway? Oh my God, come on. Like, I thought when you go down the stairs, you're gonna have this grand game room. It's a hallway. You've compartmentalized your basement. It is an incredible expensive thing to do for the sake of only bringing natural light to your hallway. If this was an open space, which I thought it would be, you could have made an argument for it. But not at this cost, man. What are you doing? This is ridiculously expensive for lighting up a hallway.
We'll show you that in a second, but it's a full home on that side with a separate staircase, separate parking, separate entrance to the outside. This right here, welcome to the movie theater. First, if you need to take a leak, here's your potty break.
Oh my God, same mistake. That is extremely tight, Mike. This is like you can wash your hand while peeing. It's like, you can just go.
This should be a favorite room, but I gotta say, I don't do much TV. I don't do a lot of movies here. However, when we do use this room, I love it, because if we're using this room, all the kids are over. We kind of went a little old school, put some old school retro refrigerators and a microwave. And this just is a super mini kitchen. I did have a rule to this kitchen. It has to be all horribly not good for you health-wise. So it has to be sodas, drinks, candies. It is all junk food in here. Popcorn, you gotta have Junior Mints and ice cream. It's a little low. We must have had a party. We need to refill. We need more junk and Twizzlers. So engineering of the movie theater, you would think there may not be much to it, but I wanted a theater that I could absolutely blast the sound system. So this theater is actually concrete, 360 degrees, floor, ceiling, everything. That right there is the garage floor. So my wife's car is currently parked right there. This is a clear span of solid concrete. As you walk down, it has 2 layers of bar. It's waterproofed with a subframe, a soundproof. That wood is still in there holding the sheetrock and the wiring and everything. But above that is a concrete slab that big. There was so many different areas in this basement that is all concrete because the garage is 5-car garage.
Oh my God. Okay, wouldn't that have been much less expensive than just buying the other lot next to you? Like, because these lots are not that expensive. The amount of engineering in concrete, like you could have had double lots, right? And had the swimming pool where the house is located on the lot next to you. So you would have had enough setback. And maybe you could have had a movie theater on that lot as well. Again, just because you have a solution, that doesn't mean you should do it. It's really odd. And it's common within engineers. There's that stubbornness and sense of challenge. But again, it financially could wreck you.
This is one of a bunch of mechanical rooms. Little things like this you can see throughout: Generac stacks, isolators, switches. The whole house has solar generator, backup batteries, and it prioritizes so we can go into different modes on the generator system, from a catastrophic event where we really need to save power, temporary event, or what's most likely is just the city power goes out for a half hour. We have backup generators and switching.
It's a bunker. I think part of the reason he was saying like he's going really thick, he's like, it will also function as a doomsday. We could live in the movie theater.
What I did do on this house, I put in such a big generator that I don't have to turn off anything. In a normal power outage, batteries run the house. Everything stays operational when the power goes out. And then what happens is the batteries draw to a certain point, then the big generator fires up. It can simultaneously run 100% of the house and charge all the batteries, bring everything up at once. And then when the battery gets high enough, the generator will come off. And the house doesn't even have to flicker off and on. It just stays running. If we're in a situation where that generator that is natural gas, if there was an earthquake and that line broke, I have backup propane switch and have giant propane tanks.
Oh my God, this guy is legit. Okay, it's cool to see some guy just not giving a F, right? It's like, I don't care. I just want, but financially very dangerous.
This is one of the bedrooms. We tried to make all the bedrooms have their own bathrooms, their own everything. So if the kids come back to our house later, need a place to stay, they have their own bathroom, their own bedroom, everything else. So this is one of many. This is one of the guest bathrooms. Same idea.
Okay, it's also a little bit tight. It's better than the last ones, but the toilets are always tucked in a really tight spot. The finishes, I have to say though, they are within a palette. Okay, within a palette. I'm not judging this as far as ultra luxury whatsoever. I think palette and this price point does magic.
No legs, really easy to clean, everything suspended.
This doesn't. This is gunmetal, and then you got brass over here, and the knobs. Why are they changing here from this to this?
Shower, straightforward. Really simple things. We really like these big glass rollers.
Yeah, again, you see this is gunmetal, brass. It just makes it too busy. You don't need to introduce 3 different metals and 6 different stones. You see over here, even the shampoo area, there is the same marble, but then there's a different tile background. The more simple you keep it, the more expensive and calming it is to the eye.
This is one of the other bedrooms, obviously not being used. We're going to finish it. This is the doggy access to the doggy door to their bathroom. If we need to leave them and we're not here, we open up the doors. We're going to put some doggy beds in here, and the dogs can take themselves in and out to the bathroom in their own bedroom. They can play outside. They can play in here.
Very thoughtful. This guy loves his dogs. Again, he's building all these gadgets and mix for his dogs as well. Very interesting.
Okay, welcome to the basement mother-in-law's apartment. Currently, it's just been utilized as a guest apartment. When we have friends over, we just turn them loose in their own place. They can run amok, and maybe someday it will actually be a mother-in-law's apartment. But it's got its own TV, its own little kitchen, bedroom, master suite, bath, its own laundry. It's a fully separate house.
Okay, the kitchen was, 70% of that room. No real table to sit down. I think that's a mistake. And obviously, the living area, kitchen area had no windows. This one does. This one also has a light well going out, so it brings some sort of a natural light in.
This wall leads out to a separate entrance, a separate staircase, and then into more of the basement under the garage. This is the equipment room for the pool. These are 3 of the 4 filters. There's another one over there, automatic chemical feeding, a saltwater system, saltwater chlorine generators, pH balance, chlorine balance, all run off the computer. Okay, this is another part of the equipment room. All my swimming pool pumps, filters. If you look on that wall, that is all the sprinkler system for the entire house. I do not have a single sprinkler valve outside. There's no wiring buried in the dirt outside.
Good luck finding someone who will pay you for that. Again, these are all extra costs. God forbid, if they ever decide to move, there's no way someone will pay you for all these features. There's absolutely no way.
Okay, we're at the end of the underground concrete rooms and vaults. There's 4 giant concrete rooms. I won't bother going through them all, but they got all kinds of things in them. For example, Christmas storage. This is Christmas. We have snowboard winter season. We have summer bike season. Everything's put away for the season in solid concrete. Above my head is that big slab to the garage floor. My truck is literally right there. Anyway, also was kind of fun to see this floor we're standing on. For the engineering guys who are following this is the nearly 3-foot thick floor. This floor, instead of doing a footing that this wall is sitting on and a footing that this wall is sitting on, typically you'll see a footing like this on a house. This floor goes all the way over from here, all the way across, all the way under the entire pool. This has a lot of distributed loads. The amount of weight sitting where this pool is, 27 feet deep, holding water, and 3 layers of concrete going up for each floor that are attached to it. This has a different push load than that wall that's just holding up where the cars are. That wall doesn't carry 3 stories up. So when trying to engineer the footing for that and the footing for this and the different loads, we started changing the footing sizes and then realized the best way to lock them in is to make the entire thing the full thickness and then carry out massive deep footings, the same thickness around all the other walls, and then bar it in so this floor can't move independently from that floor despite what the weight differentials are.
Did you get that? This is really critical because water weighs a ton, okay? Oh, not a ton, but it's heavy, okay? And he's got this humongous swimming pool on the roof. So the amount of weight on this side of the house is significantly more than the other side. To be able to make sure the house doesn't go like settle this way, he has to spread out the footings to areas that you would typically wouldn't have to make sure you don't get cracks, right? You won't get like one part of the house settling more than the other part. Again, it all comes from not buying the right lot.
It's pretty solid down here. So if you needed to hide, this is a good place. All right, guys, so right beneath me is 1, and over there, 2 of the equipment rooms we were just in. I didn't want the boilers down there for multiple reasons, but the primary is the boilers have to have huge flues and you can only have so many 90s and elbows. So they couldn't be downstairs. So I had to stack it, equipment room through a small floor, the boilers, the water lines go downstairs, the air lines go straight out. So 750,000, 750,000, the whole house, pool, hot tub, everything can run off one. It never needs the other. However, if it's the middle of winter and we want to have a pool hot tub party, which we did do this year, we heated the swimming pool to hot tub temperature and then allowed the hot tub to be the cold plunge. And we were able to bring the pool all the way up by firing up both boilers, which go on automatically if it sees it's not catching up. But typically the whole house runs on just a fraction of one. They ramp up in increments. If it hits a certain level, the second starts to chase and come alive, and then they move up together.
Oh my God. This guy would be the worst developer. If he ever decides to flip homes, he would go broke immediately. It would be a disastrous experience.
Okay, guys, this is the garage. So I'm not done with it. So bear with me. The floor is a mess. I need to get it coated. I will do that. So future project. But you can see right here, just looking at some of the engineering, right directly below me, that's a movie theater. Right directly below that is one of those multiple storage rooms for Christmas and summer stuff and winter stuff. This is the swimming pool, suspended in midair.
I figured it's the curve. His swimming pool looks circular. So again, it's very tight. You know, it's not a typical car garage because the swimming pool is forcing it. It has a drop down. But I wonder how many cars he can park here.
What's really fun is to be in this house a year. And my biggest fear was to come in and find a little wicking wet spot. Nothing. But we went a lot of layers of waterproofing to ensure that. And so far so good. I think we're set. A year later, any settling movement is out of the way. And it was designed to be able to all stay one monolithic monster concrete block. So far, no water leaks. May it stay.
What is this? This is questionable area right here. The paint is a little wobbly, a little wavy. Mike, check this out. You might have to redo the pool.
All right, we're on our way upstairs. All right, here's just another simple room, a little exercise room. Not much, pretty basic, but it works great. I went ahead and put in its own shower and cleaned up area. So when you see the bathroom in the master, you can see why I don't want to shower up that glass, because I need to squeegee it down. Actually,
this is again another tight space. And this one, you can do a number 2 and take a shower at the same time. I don't think this guy spends that much time on the toilet. It's not on the priority list.
We put a smaller, easier shower to clean right here in the workout room, and it's just great.
Okay, it's really, really tight. It's tiny, very small. It's extremely cramped. Okay for a treadmill or elliptical machine or whatever, but you just don't have that freedom to move around and it just feels so close. You could have had this in the basement. You had 4 huge storage areas. Maybe that could have been a better place to put your gym.
Welcome to the master suite. We really are happy with how it turned out. We put a big sitting area right as you come in. Comes right out to the backyard. We also did electric radiant heat above, water radiant heat below, fireplace, a TV. You know, the time we actually use this area is during massive storms. We love thunderstorms. So when we can't fly, we'll come sit in here and we have a great view.
Oh my God, look. This optically looks so weird. This part is walled, but it's really outdoors. I wonder why he's walled it, like probably for privacy reasons. It looks like an interior of a house, but it's a patio. Really strange choice.
All right, come on in, we'll show you the rest of the master suite. So right here, we've got a separate bathroom, same thing, floating cabinets up off the floor to make it easy to clean. This way is the actual bathroom. And for all men and women out there, we know which side is his and hers, you know, hers. So this is Chandra's side. She's got a little makeup section right here where she's brought it in so she can get close. One of the things I did on the engineering side that makes my wife happy, I've never been in this, but my wife loves a bath. So this water spigot has a really extra big water line to it. This is our shower. It's big enough for 2, so we have 2 shower heads. Well, there's rain shower head, 2 other shower heads. There's plenty of room. It's awesome.
Okay, these stupid wood pattern tiles are just so ugly. Again, a common theme with finishes that he's overusing too many material. Look again, on this frame, you have that stone that we saw on the outside as well. There's another like tile this way. There's the stone pattern tile, whatever it is on this side. And then you got this wood printed tiles on this. Way too much. And it's a very, very common problem in you know, entry-level luxury where it becomes obvious it's not real luxury and it doesn't show its class and prestige and like effortlessness, is when he's trying too much. And this is a prime example.
In all the bedrooms throughout the whole house, everyone has their own washer and dryer, either in the bedroom or right next to it.
Maybe that's why your powder rooms are so small, right? Again, all these decisions, he's crazy about redundancies. It comes from the airplane industry, whatever. It's just extra cost and extra cost and extra cost. Upstairs laundry would do. You don't need, maybe I've seen some primaries have their own because people are just sensitive about their privacy and underwear and stuff. But every single room has its own laundry. It's just too much.
This is Chandra's, and mine's right here. Here's Mike. No, I'm just kidding. I have a little more than that right here. But if you're a man, you know how it works. 90% stained with airplane stuff, pants, and I'm a t-shirt guy.
So he's, again, closet space. First of all, you have to go through the bathroom to get to it. Small, even for a family in Utah. Again, not ideal.
All right, come on back to the bedroom here. This is the master bedroom. This was where we put a lot of time. We love 3 walls of glass, 1 wall of natural stone. This stone we got out of our own rock quarry. So one of our several companies is a rock quarry. So
it's the same stone on the facade, I believe, and it looks really good. It's really good. It's good to have that continuity of this stone on the inside. But again, the brick, I just did not understand. You don't put this right next to brick.
Welcome to the pool.
Wait a minute. Where are the other bedrooms? Is there another bedroom upstairs? Or was this it? I'm sure there's another bedroom upstairs.
All right, this whole space was really the center of the whole house. The lemon that turned into our lemonade.
It feels like a living room, right? Doesn't it? It actually looks functional. It's kind of cool. It's like your living space is on the roof. It's semi-covered, and the stone and the wood cabinets over here look nicer than the kitchen. So very functional, but I think that comes at the cost of not having any other bedroom upstairs. And that's a major flaw for resale. Again, I don't think he cares about resale, obviously. But again, it just... you would never get your money back. Your kids, one day when they're selling this property, they will be like, that was really expensive.
I couldn't be happier about having the pool on the top floor of this house. And there's lots of things that came as a benefit, and that is leaves don't get in it, grass doesn't get in it, it just stays clean. It's so high off the ground. It is the cleanest pool we've ever had.
There's another benefit. Can you guess? I give you guys 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. But before I tell you that, have you subscribed? I ask you to please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. If you love watching my videos, I would really appreciate it. It's a small thing you can do. It really helps the channel grow. Hit the like button while you're at it too. I would appreciate it. On a north-facing property, if you put your swimming pool in the backyard, the house blocks the sun coming into the pool. So you're going to have shade over the pool. By putting the swimming pool on the roof, another benefit, I guess, is that you're going to get more natural light. Now, he's built this wall. It blocks the sun but he's even put windows to make sure more natural light comes into this area. So again, he's thinking the right way, I guess.
And surprisingly, someone talked me into it, and I'm actually glad I did it. I have speakers that are designed to work underwater. You can't even hear them if they're out of the water, but they work with the vibration of the water.
I love this guy. I don't know if I'm being easy on him, but it's cool if you have the money to spend it on things that you absolutely love, okay? And it's really cool that he's doing it. Part of me, I'm excited for this project. It is really, really cool that he's doing it, but it's just so financially irresponsible. It might not be for him, but it might be for you. And I still believe if he would have had found a better lot, he would still have got everything he wanted more comfortably, with more space, with significantly lower costs. But I don't think that's what makes him happy. You see, I think him solving these problems makes him happy. So to each their own. I salute him for doing it. Congrats on the project. Pretty badass. You would never be able to get your money back. Maybe in 30, 40 years, if property prices would appreciate, you might be able to break even at some point. But again, to each their own. But, builders be aware.
All the cables, pulleys, brackets, everything needed to make the moving floor is all done installed. This is where the pulleys come through a wet wall up to above the water line, U-turns, goes back down and clear into the basement to the cables that will operate. When I get that installed, this can be a giant dance floor out of the water.
He wanted a dance floor. Okay, I guess. It's a very expensive dance floor. Very, very expensive dance floor. Okay, before I give it an Arvin score, if you're planning to build, buy, remodel a property, and you want 12 months of support so you can build more confidently, you can build faster, cheaper, and ultimately have a significantly higher resale value, I would love to be that partner with you, walk you through it, hold your hand, help you make these decisions wiser, faster, and better. Link is in the description. Fill out the application. If we are a right fit for each other, I would love to help you out. Okay, now the Arvin score. Location. I can't give it anything more than 4. It's very rural area. It seems like the nicest subdivision within this area, and that's why it's going to get a 4. Lot quality, about 17,000 square foot, mostly flat. I'm going to give it a 7. Lot utilization. The frontage is, average. Side setbacks are really tight. Backyard is a good size. I'm going to give it a 7. Privacy. Look, no one really looks in. He really made sure he walled in his rooftop so no one looks in. But your side setbacks are pretty close to your neighbors. I'm going to give it an 8. Lot orientation. You're dead on north facing, but you're at the banks of a river, which is kind of nice, but it comes with its own risks. I'm going to give it a 7. Architectural style. I can't give this property anything more than a 4. Maybe a 3. Let's give it a 3.5. Views. Look, you do get some views from the first floor. You got a little bit of a river view, forest view. I'm going to give it a 5. Layout. We have massive issues. The first floor was good. I mean, the flow for the kitchen, family room, and the dining room was good, but the actual family room felt like a formal living room. We didn't have any other bedrooms on that floor. And then 2 guest bedrooms in the basement. I understand you're building it for yourself, but it just try to find someone else who likes everything you do and cares for the redundancies. I'm going to give it a 2. Scale and volume, very good, very proportional. All the rooms that I saw, except for the powder room, it were excellent. I'm going to give it an 8. Finishes. I think it could have got a 7, but they used way too many material. They got the palette right, but they just introduced too many finishes. They got trigger happy with let's put this over here next to this. And I think that was a mistake. So I'm going to give it a 6. Now, here's the Arvin score. Now, this property is a prime example of how engineers typically think. Now, Mike being a super engineer, it's an exaggerated version of this, but this could happen to you too if you have this logical problem-solving mindset. Just because you come across a problem, you don't necessarily have to solve it. You can reverse, pull back, foresee what would cost you solving that problem, and see if you can come to other solutions outside of the box, like buying your neighbor's house. The houses in this neighborhood are somewhere around $1 million. I mean, the foundation, the concrete cost of all these structure was significantly more expensive than buying your neighbor's house and turning the neighbor's house to your backyard and putting your swimming pool there, right? But again, I think different things make different people happy. Maybe solving this problem made him extremely happy. It's a huge financial mistake. I would never recommend the client doing this. This is just kind of having an itch and itch it for the sake of it, and they would never be able to get their money back on this project. Now, they have financial means to do it. It's fun to kind of watch this and really enjoy it, but it's not something I can recommend to you. But if you want to see a property that actually takes a fundamentally proper approach into building the right architecture on the right piece of land that utilizes it the best and gives you the most resale value and best appreciation over time, watch this video. If you want 12 months of support, the link is in the description. I'd love to be that guy for you to help you out through that time. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching.